You're right. Yes, yes. No, she's. I know you can't. You said get something on your face, but I was just teasing. I'm just
Oh,
teasing.
oh, okay.
Now I'm looking at them from here.
Well, hello. Thank you, and welcome to another show of the DigiSys.
Are you laughing at us?
There she is.
Keep staying in quarantine. Nobody even notices.
How much money is I was in the stock market? Body going on.
Hello, I am DeQuay Wilson, your announcer on the Wave Your Grades motivational talk program featuring American students dedicating academic excellence to American veterans and our veterans, thanking our students for being serious about their education. Your Wave Your Grades program is brought to you by the Norman Group. Now, here is our host, Carl Boyd.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, DeQuay Wilson. DeQuay is indeed our announcer, our producer, our co-host, our engineer, and this is a very special program for a very special weekend and week and ongoing. And we would like to express our appreciation for our first two very special guests on this occasion. A very, very sincere thank you to Debbie Austin and Joyce Turner, because this is a mom's weekend, and it turns out that they are gold star moms. So, let me first, in as much as I first met Debbie Austin, welcome Debbie Austin first, Gold Star Moms. Debbie Austin, welcome to Wave Your Grades. Uh-oh. I am seeing you talk, but I'm not hearing you talk. Is that because of me or now? Once again, oh, I see. Debbie, did you put yourself on mute? If I am properly reading her lips, she is saying that she is not on mute, but that indeed we should be able to hear this very special guest on this very special weekend, Debbie Austin, and as we continue to work on those controls, let us remind our audience that our program is a Stutes for Boots. Stutes is short for students, Boots stands for troops, and our students are dedicating excellence in honor of our troops. That's what the program is all about, and we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to properly celebrate those who have sacrificed in behalf of our entire nation. And for those young people, we celebrate every Saturday. Once again, my name is Carl Boyd. The program is Wave Your Grades. And by the way, we are on www.kuaw.org, Zooming today and welcoming our very special guests. Do we have audio? Let us find out. Once again, welcome Debbie Austin too, and Joyce Turner. Now I see both. As a matter of fact, perhaps we can find out if it's on our end, so we'll ask Joyce Turner if she will say something. All right, it is definitely our end, because in both cases, our very special guests are not on mute, but we are not able to hear them quite yet. So let us continue. As a matter of fact, we were talking just a few minutes ago, so whatever that was working, and we shall continue because this is very important to us. And by the way, ladies, we have two engineers who are working on the controls so that we will get an opportunity to do what needs to be done. Now, oh, I see. Now, well, as a matter of fact, I think I see someone saying something, but not hearing them. And I suspect, and you can do this by a nod, you can still hear me, I take it. So, yes. Well, they can hear me. Now let's, once again, are we okay now, or do you know? Debbie Austin, welcome to Wave Your Grades.
Thank you, Carl. It's good to be on your show again. Thank you.
Oh, it is absolutely good to hear you again, and in this instance, to see you. And now let me ask if we can hear Joyce Turner. Welcome to Wave Your Grades.
Hi, Carl, and thank you so much for inviting me to be on the show.
Well, let me tell you, this is such a special opportunity for us on this particular program, because we ask that our young people listen to Wave Your Grades, and our young people have dedicated excellence to our troops. So if you would, first, either or both, tell us something about Gold Star Moms, and then I will be asking each of you individually to tell us something about yourselves.
Joyce?
Well, a Gold Star mother is or a father is a parent whose child was killed within theater, which would be in the midst of battle or technically war. We also recognize Gold Star mothers that qualify as next of kin, which unfortunately they may have fought very hard to come home for a break and possibly had a car accident past stateside, but they're no less of a Gold Star parent. So we do recognize those also.
Thank you so much. And Debbie?
Our organ, and we are part of the American Gold Star Mothers organization. Once you lose a loved one, like Joyce said, you are automatically termed Gold Star family. Then you choose or you choose not to join the organization of American Gold Star Mothers. And it's an organization or a group that you don't want to qualify for, but we are thankful that we are here to be supportive of each other. And I might add too, this is for all conflicts from many years past. We have mothers from Vietnam moms that are in our
Wow.
organization or that we work with daily. And we also work alongside other organizations that help our veterans that are still here. It's just it's fellowship. It's fellowships amongst each other.
Mhm.
One of the things that resonates so very highly is when you say, and understandably, it is not something for which you would desire to qualify. In each of your cases, I would just, out of curiosity, um, be enlightened by who you were before this kind of recognition. You are obviously more than qualified, and you're helping so many people in what you do. But take us back just a few years to who you have been, what your aspirations were, for instance, in high school. So that had to have been 15 years ago. And now, tell us something about
That's
yourselves
why we love
individually.
Carl.
So, who are you from a little while ago?
Well, for me, I was a mother of three boys, and a wife. I was there for my boys 100%. I was a proud mom when Shane made the decision to go into to sign up to serve our country. At that point, I was a mom of a son that was in the Army. Um, just an
Yeah.
everyday woman that would do her grocery shopping, come home, clean her house, and fix her dinner, and be proud of her boys.
Where are you from
I'm
originally, geographically?
I, I'm
We're in the
sorry.
we're in the Midwest. I was just wondering where you're from geographically.
We were in Gardner, Kansas at
Ah,
the time,
oh,
and
oh,
it just Shane decided to join the Army after 9/11.
I see. And Joyce, your background a little bit, and where you're from, and
Well, I've lived in Gladstone, Missouri. I'm going to say the majority of my life by far, and I
hmm
graduated
okay.
a long time ago, Carl. Um, my son, Sean, I have two children, Sean and my daughter, Misty, 14 months apart. Lots of work. And he wasn't real fond of high school. So he did get out and he joined the Army at 19. Absolutely nothing was happening. He served 12 years in the service. And in those 12 years, he did 3 battle tours, 2 in Iraq, the final one in Afghanistan. But he got to see, he did jungle training, Panama. But one thing he really, really was very into was furthering his education. And because he was with the 101st Airborne, there's a college there called Austin P University that is all for the military. They send a lot of nursing to Nashville, Vanderbilt. They have a helicopter division, but he was so trying to get that college degree because he finally realized that meant so much to him.
Yes.
So, and I was just a mother. I had been working constantly, and unfortunately, after my son was killed, my husband left. So I was kind of facing a double crisis at the same time, which is not that uncommon. So I understand. And I dug my way out and, working with my daughter, and I have 2 grandchildren in college. One
Oh,
graduating high school this year, and
outstanding.
yeah. So,
Well, one thing that happened after I made a call to Debbie Austin was Debbie Austin called Joyce Turner. And before I get contact information for Gold Star Moms, I would just be interested in how you characterize the camaraderie that you have if immediately she called you. There's a special relationship there. But overall, Gold Star moms nationally, how would you characterize your interrelationships?
And I've told Debbie this many times. God doesn't make all Gold Star mothers the same. Some are not perfect. Some are wonderful. But when you converse with them, whether it's on Facebook, you know exactly the pain that's in their heart. And whether their personality clicks with yours, it really doesn't matter. Because if they're hurting like you're hurting, you want to be there for them.
Yes.
At the best of your ability. And it's funny, I have friends I may never meet that live all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I love each and every one of them, and I know how they hurt. So
Yeah, sorry, Joyce.
No, go ahead, Deb.
And to kind of follow up with and piggyback on what Joyce said, kind of like our boys, when our children or our loved ones, when they go to fight, we have met women from different backgrounds, and when our boys go to fight, they don't fight for a certain nationality or a certain religion, or they don't fight upon who you love. They are skin color. It's we're all together. We're a band. They're a band of brothers and sisters in theater and on the battlefield, just like we are mothers of a band of mothers, just there to show support and fellowship with each other and laugh and cry.
Mhm.
I don't want to give the impression that we sit around and cry all the time either. We laugh, we make fun of each other, we hug each other. It's just a great group of friends. As a matter of fact, our annual convention, was supposed to be in Virginia Beach this year. Mona Gunn is our national president at this time, but unfortunately we had to cancel it for her, so because of the virus.
I'll tell you what both of you make me mindful of. My wife and I have learned a little technology, and Zoom is among those technologies to which we have been introduced, and we enjoy a Sunday school class, and we studied a lesson about Mordecai and his cousin Esther. And in our word, Esther 4:14, there is the statement, perhaps you have come for such a time as this. Putting that in context, the contacts that you have made out of adverse circumstances across the nation turns out now to be exemplary for those of us who are facing something we never could have anticipated. But if we pay attention to Gold Star moms, then we can be helped in how to conduct ourselves during this pandemic. For that, you deserve a profound thank you. And whatever else you want to say, please let us know how to contact and stay in touch with Gold Star moms.
Well, and that's an invitation that we would like to give to any of your listeners, that if they have lost a child while serving in our country, they can contact us personally, or they can go to the website. It's goldstarmoms.com, and learn more information. But then we can also, I don't know if we should do it here, but we can leave you our information and they can contact us personally.
Oh, outstanding. I appreciate that. And that is something that we will get off air. And I will be discriminate in dispersing personal information, but there may be some interviewing kinds of things where I would ask your permission to give someone that number. But goldstarmoms.com.
Yes.
One of the things that I want to make sure that we do in the time that we have is give both of you an opportunity to make whatever remarks are on your heart at this particular time. And if not, I do have particular questions, but don't want to get away with your saying, "Oh, I should have said," and we didn't get to it. So
I
please,
think that happens every time.
all the
Well,
time. Go ahead,
I can
please.
just start by saying it is Mother's Day weekend. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Shane graduated boot camp Mother's Day 14 years ago.
Oh,
His killed in action date was October of
oh,
2006. So he was
okay.
not military much. But I do want to say, even though it is Mother Day and we do have a hole in our heart, I still appreciate when people say Happy Mother's Day to me,
Okay.
and I respect Mother's Day. I have a mom. I still have two sons, surviving sons, and I have 5 grandkids. So it is important to not be afraid to approach us. Shane and Sean and Joyce's, case live on in our hearts. You can't take that. You cannot steal our memories. They may not be here, but you cannot steal our memories. So that's my feelings.
Thank
You
you.
know, and my son was quite a bit older. He was 32. He had a house and he has a daughter who is living with grandma, and she will be 19 Friday. So Mother's Day and her birthday kind of coincide. But I do miss my son. And don't be afraid to say their names, because they were kids. I changed diapers. I got calls from the principal. They actually lived and walked this earth. And just mention their name to us if you get a chance, or if you want to just talk about it. We may be sad or have a tear or not have a tear. Just don't forget them.
Wow. As a matter of fact, you have taken me to where I wanted to go, and that is to ask the question where Gold Star moms are concerned, and or individually, what are the best ways others of us who are not affiliated. And by the way, I make clear that I am a civilian, so it is my privilege to honor those who have served. In what ways can we be most helpful in helping our nation to understand what you are having to confront and what you have done? What can we do that is helpful to you?
That's a really good question. And given the circumstances right now with the coronavirus, and our first responders and our nurses, of course, and doctors are in our foremost thoughts. But to help us is just to talk about our kids with us, or say, what was he like? And, I have friends that lost toddlers, and we still talk about him.
Oh,
Or a
yes.
friend lost a son to a drug overdose.
Yes.
We still talk about him, because he lived. He was a person. Deb, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I guess, kind of like I said, it's important that we all stand together despite our differences. And everybody has differences. It's about standing together. And I think for most of us, we don't want sympathy. We don't need people to feel sorry for us, because that's not, no matter what we do, our boys aren't coming back. Once I realized, no matter how many tears I shed or how deep the pain of my heart is, Shane will not come back to me, but we can honor them and keep their memories alive. And once I got past that and started honoring our veterans, and when I say, maybe some people aren't capable of getting out and actually coming to help us at one of our events, but just a simple thank you to our veterans means a whole lot. When you say thank you to a veteran, you can see his face light up, and just a simple thank you. But just coming together as Americans despite our differences, I think they fought hard, and some gave all for our freedom. So I think it's important that we respect each other even during differences.
And I'm thinking, even if you live by a veteran, mow his yard for him once and say thank you.
Wow.
And that would just be so nice. And we just had a World War II veteran survive coronavirus, leave the hospital at age 99.
Yes.
So just let them know, because there's a lot of demons in some of their heads, and when the more gentleness they get in their lives, I really believe could help them.
Absolutely.
I don't know how to appropriately attempt to thank both of you so much for who you are, for what you are to all of the rest of us, and for appearing with us on this afternoon's program on this very special Mom's Weekend. And I would like for both of you to know that our intent is to call on you again, and looking forward to that time when travel is such that we will be able to see each other without benefit of the cameras, but be
Correct.
able to say, hello, how are you? And indeed, thank you so very, very much.
Oh, Carl.
And if I can say just too, thank you for letting us share our story. That's important. I think that's where it begins, is letting the family share their story.
Okay.
But we as at the Northeast Kansas chapter, we would also like to thank you for having us on your show. And I know you've heard us talk about wreaths across America.
Yes.
So our chapter would actually like to sponsor a wreath in honor of your father-in-law. So if you can give us that information or his grave marker, so come December we can lay a wreath.
Wow.
Or invite you and your wife out there to lay the wreath on his headstone.
Let me say to you that among my two, I think maybe three listeners, but among my two or three listeners is indeed my wife, Wanda, to whom I refer as Wonderful Wanda.
Hi, Wanda.
And I cannot imagine her reaction to that invitation, which obviously I can accept immediately on her behalf, and cannot tell you, wow, how that makes us feel. And you will hear from us very soon and very consistently. So to both of you, God bless you, and thank you so very, very much.
Well, God bless you too, Carl, and thank you very much.
Okay. This is Wave Your Grades. You have heard from Joyce Turner, Debbie Austin, Gold Star Moms, Gold Star in every way, every day. Wave Your Grades, KUAW.org. Wow, what a program. And when we return, you will be hearing from the Reverend Thomas Linden Jr. He is the commander of the American Legion Post 149. And let me ask our announcer, DeQuay Wilson, to help us in this transition. It was almost an awkward ending to the first half of the program, because I was definitely thrown by that wonderful invitation, but we thank those ladies so very, very much. Let me turn it over to DeQuay Wilson.
Wave Your Grades is brought to you by the Norman Group. For more information on wealth building or becoming a partner, please contact Willie Norman at 816-525-8708, or you may send him an email at wnorman2@att.net. Again, his phone number is 816-525-8708. He would love to hear from you. Now we are back with your Wave Your Grades program. I am your announcer, DeQuay Wilson. Here is Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much. And once again, a very special weekend, very special guests. And we are pleased now to welcome another of our very special guests for Mother's Day weekend. He is indeed Commander, American Legion Post 149. His name is the Reverend Thomas Linden Jr. And this one we will conduct by phone as opposed to by Zoom. And we are saying, I think, good afternoon to Reverend Thomas Linden Jr. And as a matter of fact, met him through former Commander Sidney Malone, who has been a frequent guest on the program. This afternoon, let us say thank you for being with us, and welcome, Reverend Thomas Linden Jr. Oh, that might be that I am not turning up my microphone. I mean, my headphones. Hello and welcome. Reverend Thomas Linden Jr. Uh-oh. I will try again. Now, you know what? It might very well be that there are people who are listening to the...
Brother Carl Ward, I'm here.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We are in celebration of a very special weekend, obviously. And we are in the throes of some times that we never anticipated. Just in welcoming you to Wave Your Grades, let me ask of Reverend Thomas Linden Jr. to come to us in the way that you desire. Now, this time, I did not hear you. I'm not sure whether it's my headphones and or something else, and I don't know if those who are listening to the radio program are listening to both of us talk at the same time, because I cannot hear you and you might very well be making remarks and I'm not hearing. So
okay, I'm hearing you, brother. Real light.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's getting better now. Okay, we're in good shape now.
All right, please. And once again, welcome, and please let us hear from Reverend Linden Jr.
God bless you, sir. God bless Brother Carl Ward for this invitation. I will always say it's a pleasure being in your presence. Tomorrow's celebration of Mother Day is a celebration and appreciation that we should do more than once a year. It really should be done 4 or 5 times a year. Mothers are God's precious tools of his workshop. In a fashion like God used mothers in a form of UPS and FedEx and the Postal Service of delivering us into his earthly place. The first mothers of this earth was Mother Eve. She gave birth to Cain and Abel. And let us not forget Mother Sarah. She was the wife of Abraham, who God called the father of many nations. Therefore, Sarah was the mother of many nations too. The Bible tells us that Mother Eunice and Grandmother Lois accepted Christianity under Timothy, who was a student of Paul the Apostle. In the United States back in the 19th century, in the years before the Civil War, of April 12, 1861 to April 9, 1965. A lady named Anne Reeve Jarvis of West Virginia started a Mother's Day work club to teach local women how to properly care for their children. I'm getting a little static.
No, I'm okay. I'm hearing you.
Okay, yeah. Later, it became commercialized, and she hated it, and she denounced it, but it remained today. Some historians have noted that the ancient Greece and Romans held festivals to honor their mother goddess, Rhea and Sybil. Now, let us never forget that God himself gave to Moses his very special 5th commandment. It says, thou art to honor thy father and thy mother, that your days upon this earth and this land, which the Lord has given you, will long. But in times of trouble, and many times in many of troubles, mothers, or shall we say mama, is the first person that we call to come see about us and rescue us. It's always mama. Mama, what you cook today? Mama, I need this. Mama, I really need a pair of Nike shoes to wear this weekend. Today, from a military standpoint of view, please let us not forget the 6888 Central Postal Battalion.
Yes.
It was the Women's Army Corps of World War II. 855 black women, officers and enlisted, the only all-black female battalion serving overseas during World War II, dating from February 1945 through March 1946. These brave, dedicated black women of the 6886 Battalion Women's Army Corps served, and they worked very, very hard in the distribution of mail and correspondence letters in various airplane hangars and warehouses in foreign lands of England and France. Their accomplishments were noted to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, that these brave, dedicated black military women, soldiers in the 6888 Postal Battalion Women Army Corps, had sorted and distributed 65,000 pieces of mail per shift, and clearing a 6-month backlog of mail in 3 months. That truly meant Happy Mother's Day letters from husbands and sons and nephews who were serving abroad overseas. Sons and daughters of the military were often favorable to write mothers first. It was always, "Dear Mom." And then throughout the letter, they would say, "Well, tell Daddy hello, and tell Sister Peggy hello too, and little Johnny too." But it was always about Mother. Upon completion of their active duty assignment, these women of the 6888 Army Corps returned home to become mothers. They became grandmothers. They became great-grandmothers too. Their DNA has been passed on to our present-day mothers of 2020. Now, today, in reality, whenever trouble comes to us, and if it hasn't come to you yet, it's coming. Okay? So still be standby. Mama is the first one we always call. And it's always 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when we get in trouble. And we're not going to wake Daddy up. We always call Mama. Can you see about me? Mama, I need some money. Can you wire me some money? Mama, my car broke. Mama, can you wire me some money? Can you come bond me out of jail? Oh, Mama, we all fighting. Mama, can you see? Mama, can you be? Mama plays the judge. She plays the doctor. She plays the nurse. She plays the lawyer. She plays the good neighbor across the street. She serves number one in church. It's always about Mama. So we have to be excited, and we have to be very respectful of Mama. Tomorrow's celebration of Mother's Day 2020, I would like to use this opportunity to share a very special Mother's Day to Sister Wanda Cooper. She is the mother of Ahmaud Arbery, the young man who got shot and murdered in Georgia. Now, at this stage in her life, Amari would have been celebrating his birthday, but now Sister Cooper is trying to do a birthday celebration in a home. And so I send this special request. I'll ask of you to for that tribute to her. Also, I would like to go back in history a little bit. She's in the arms of God today, but I just want our young listeners who are listening to remember the name of Mother Albertha King. She gave birth to Dr. Martin Luther King, who was a soldier. You know, he didn't serve in the military, and I have no record of her serving in the military of the armed forces. But he didn't serve in the Army or the Marine Corps or the Navy. But he did serve as a general, a leader on the battlefield for civil rights and humanity. Also, I would like to send a special Mother's Day tribute to to Michelle Obama. Mm-hmm. The first mother to serve in the White House with such dignity and such dedication and such pride to make our nations proud. A good role model, not just for her children, but for the children of this world. They can look up and see what a mother's responsibility should be. So I'm sending that out to her. Also, if from a personal point of view, I got to include my mother, Belma Linden, and my grandmothers, Mary and Mama Corrine, and all the mothers of Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. Let us lift them. Let us take it a little further than just taking mom, going to church with mom on tomorrow, or taking mom to go. It's no longer there, but Gold Buffet or to Olive Garden or to Red Lobster. We need to let mama know that we love her. We need to remember that everything that we are today, our accomplishments was for the many hours and the dedication that mom stood for us, had me on for me. I'm so glad my mother prayed for me. And so we thanking the Lord for mothers this day. And I thank you for the opportunity, the invite for me today. So thank you, sir. God bless you.
God bless you. I appreciate you so much for your words, for your recollection. I was looking at your co-host announcer when you talked about the 6888. And the reason is because we have fond memories of having Colonel Philpott on the program, and in his historian recollection was talking about that particular group. So they hold a special place in our hearts. We thank you for mentioning that.
Yes.
And we would like to find out your church affiliation and words of being able to keep in touch with you and to hear more from you.
Okay. Well, as our previous meetings on Veterans Day, I am the assistant pastor at the Living Word Church here in Kansas City, Kansas. I serve under the senior pastor of Reverend Dwayne McFetters. As a Marine Corps veteran, I'm part of the American Legion. I serve as the commander of American Legion Wayne Minor Post 149 here in Kansas City. I serve as the Missouri Department 5th District chaplain here in Kansas City. I serve as the assistant chaplain to the Buffalo Soldier, Alexander Madison Buffalo Soldiers here in Kansas City. And so God has blessed me and has walked me through this journey. And so I'm very, very glad, and on various occasions to meet and be in affiliation with you.
Wow, this is so good. I'll have just one other question after this, but you made me think of something when you were talking about how our young people, when there is a situation, whatever that situation might be, are more likely to go to mom than to go elsewhere. And that does not, by the way, take anything away from dad. It is an orientation. It is culturally accurate. And you are younger than I, but I have to tell you, you made me mindful of, I'm looking at Louis George Walker now. He'll recognize this along with me, because we have occasion once in a while to talk about music. And I was listening to you in that description, and Louis, Brother Walker, I thought about Early one Sunday morning,
Come on now.
breakfast was on the table.
Sing it. Yes, sir.
There was no time to eat. She said to me, boy, hurry to Sunday school. And here I am talking to Reverend Thomas Linden Jr.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes. God bless you. Yes.
you took me back to that. And another thing is in our culture and in our history, as I think about people whom I've known all of these years, Reverend Linden Jr. helped me with this, but I'm going to offer 85 to 92% of the times, perhaps, when somebody says after a journey that they were going back home, in 85 to 92% of the cases, home was where the mother was.
Yeah.
It might be both mom and dad, but if it were only one, in most cases, they were talking about where the mother was.
Yes.
That was home.
Well, we are blessed today that because long before the Me Too movement comes about, back in our day, I grew up in the 40s and the 50s, and most mothers, their main concern or their main obligation was the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, cooking the breakfast, cleaning up, make sure that house was squared away, spit and shine. And dad always went out and did the 40 hours. So the first thing that person we saw in the morning was mom, and mom was the last person we saw.
Yes.
And when we got in trouble at school, the teachers didn't call dad because they couldn't reach him. They called mom.
Yes.
And mom was the last person you wanted to come to your school and get you squared away, because mom would get you squared away, and your cousins too. You know.
That's right.
And so everything when we wanted something, we would ask dad, but he would always go ask your mama, because mom was the banker. She kept the money, she kept the finances, she managed the house. It was
Yes.
mom who did the grocery shopping. It was mom who ironed our clothes. It was mom who taught us how to cook. It was mom who not to say brought us to church, but she did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mom always sitting behind us, watching us, make sure. It was mom's idea for us to sing in the choir. It was mom that we always give credit to. And I'm glad that you said that, because the NFL draft, we didn't. It wasn't televised the way it should have been or could have been. But whenever a young man is selected by an NFL team,
Yes.
the first person that he hugs
Come on.
is mom.
Yes.
Okay. And he puts that NFL cap on his mom. And the first thing he says, well, I'm a millionaire. The first thing I'm going to do now is buy my mom a house. You know? And so, I'm with you on that. So it would be nice if we could celebrate Mother's Day more than just once a year.
And I was so pleased that you started with that, because that is just very, very important. And I talk about in our culture, but in fact, in any culture. I'm an educator. I started teaching 7th and 8th grade science in 1964, so I've been in education for quite a while. And the purpose for this program is to motivate American students to strive for excellence in honor of our troops. We want our young people in school to be as superior academically as we are as a nation superior militarily. And when we compare our young people, unfortunately, being behind other nations, I think about Tokyo, I think about Japan, and the young people do very well, and they have what they call Ryoku moms. Ryoku moms are the moms who are responsible for the children's education And when those youngsters come home, largely in Tokyo, there's not an argument about whether or not they're going to get on their smartphones or get on their homework, because mom is clearly responsible for that. It is not only in Tokyo, but other Asian communities have that same kind of child-mom relationship. So it is well that we recognize, to the degree that it is proper, if it can ever be proper enough, to do what Reverend Thomas Linden Jr. suggests, and to have that as a celebration 4 or 5 times a year, but as respect every day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So as we come close to the close of this afternoon's very special tribute to moms, and from Reverend Linden, if you were to close us out, what would be your closing remarks on this special recognition this afternoon?
Oftentimes, in my earlier life, James Brown had this song. I'd said it's a man's world.
Yes.
But it would be nothing without a woman or a girl. And I too do not want to commit the sins of ingratitude and live that male chauvinist type life. For women are very important, not just for mothers, but mothers set the example for young ladies who will be of an example and be leaders. I'm prayerful for this coming year, 2021, that in January, when the inauguration ceremony stands before us, that we have a woman of color.
Wow.
To be in place in governors, because from the slave ships that brought us here, it was the black woman who stood the pain and the suffering and bore us to and encouraged us to be strong, and watch us being suppressed and depressed and persecuted and executed, and but yet she still stood, and no favoritism was ever offered or given to her. She stood on her own, and she stood strong. And so I say to our young women of today's society, hold your head up, be proud of who you are. And the Staples Singers had a song that says, respect yourself.
Yes.
And Jesse Jackson said back in the day, you are somebody, okay? And be proud of who you are. And if you're at a level right now where you need some help, do not be too proud to ask for help. Bill Withers says, yeah, lean on me, okay? And we too that are in a position to help and watch over, let us do that. And so we would give thanks to God, because remember that one of the commandments that God gave to Moses, he said, thou art to honor thy father and thy mother, that the days upon this land shall be long. And that's very clear to understand. If you are disobedient, if you think you're grown before your time, if you place yourself in a status that you are too cute or too man or too woman to learn things, you're not going to be prosperous. And so we wake up each morning and we say, Lord, thank you for peaceful and restful night last night. Thank you for a new day that I'm not deserving of. But because of your grace and your mercy, I accept it. Lord, be patient with me. Watch over me. Take me to the potter's house and just smooth me over.
Wow.
Lord, fall afresh upon me, that I be worthy of this day, and that my actions of this day may be acceptable in your sight.
Yes. We, again, cannot thank you enough. We will ask that you be prepared for another invitation on other occasions, and the occasion simply might be your being our guest. So thank
God
you.
bless you.
God bless you. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself, your loved ones, and the rest of us for that matter. God bless you, Reverend Thomas Linden Jr. Thank you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you so very much. As DeQuay Wilson, our announcer, our producer, our co-host, and engineer, before I turn it over to you, let me make this observation because you have witnessed the evolution of Wave Your Grades and what is happening with our shows as they become more interesting as we go. It is absolutely important, and it makes all of the sense in the world that Reverend Thomas Linden Jr., who is the commander of American Legion Post 149, which is an African American post that has historically distinguished itself in profound ways, that he would observe the role of the African American woman in history and possibly our future. That we began our program with Joyce Turner and Debbie Austin, who happen to be Caucasian, and began the program talking about being able to cross lines of communication, and when they become Gold Star moms, not by their choosing, that designation does not have any regard for race, color, or creed, but that we are joined together, that we have had this opportunity on this one program to say thank you to all of our very distinguished guests, understanding that we are all coming together and they are helping us to do exactly that. At this time, here is your announcer, DeQuay Wilson.
And to close today's well, before I say that, I would also like to thank our guests as well. But today, to close today's program, we will recite one of our hosts' daily year-round morning motivational messages for students in honor of our troops. As always, I am DeQuay Wilson. The next voice you'll hear after the announcement will be Carl Boyd.
And as a matter of fact, had not planned it this way, this is on my calendar of 366 morning messages. And I promise you, when you look for them, when you look at them, this is the message for May 9th. And it turns out that we had our very special Gold Moms as our guests. Please pay attention to our May 9th announcement to students across the USA. Your Stoots for Boots message for this day, May 9th. For every American wounded in battle, at least 10,000 American students should dedicate excellent grades. May 9th. For every American wounded in battle, at least 10,000 American students should dedicate excellent grades. DeQuay, I would ask that if we ask that for every American wounded in battle, how many students should dedicate excellence for those who were killed in battle? And we were privileged to have our Gold Star moms on this day. My name is Carl Boyd for Wave Your Grades. Gracious God and wonderful Wanda, I'm on my way home.